This is your video over the benchmark review. The first couple of problems on the benchmark review ask for you to graph each equation and then state the domain and range of each function. If you remember that the vertex form of the absolute value is going to be y equals ax minus h plus k, where your vertex is hk. So for problem 1, your vertex is going to be the opposite of this, so -4 in that. So I'm going to put a point at -4, -1. Your slope is going to be a. So my slope for this problem is going to be 1. So that means all I'm going to do is go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. To the right, and do the same thing to the left. And that is how you graph an absolute value function. Also, if you wanted to, you could have drew a table and put your vertex in the middle. And it would have just been 0, 1, and 2. So either way you want to do it, make a table or just use the vertex and slope is an option. So that's the graphing part of number 1. It also says to state the domain and range. Well, the domain for this absolute value function is going to be all real numbers because it extends all the way to the left and all the way to the right. It's never going to stop increasing. So the range for this function is going to be the lowest point, which is -1, all the way to its highest point. Well, here again, it's never going to stop increasing, so it's going to go to infinity, and that should be a bracket. So that is how I find my range. Problem 2. Find my vertex, -1, 2. It's the opposite of this number, comma, this number. I'm going to go to -1, +2. My a is still 1, so I'm going to go up 1 over 1 until I hit my graph. Domain, here again, it's never stopping increasing or decreasing to the left or right. So my lowest point on the graph is 2, comma, infinity, and that should be a bracket. And when I mean by lowest point, I'm using the y value for the lowest point. So here's my lowest point. I'm using this value. Number 3. Vertex. I don't have an h inside, so that means my value is going to be 0, comma 1, where my a is 1. So I'm going to go to 0, 1 on my vertex and do my slopes. My domain is all real numbers, and my range is 1, comma, infinity. Number 4. My vertex is negative, I'm sorry, messed up. It's 2, comma, negative 1, with my slope being 1. Put a point on my vertex, up 1 over 1. Domain, all real numbers. Range, negative 1, comma, infinity. The next set of problems says to use the table to sketch the graph of each function. Also tell if the vertex is a min or max, and find the domain and range. So to find the vertex, they want us to use a table, and you want the vertex to go in the middle. You're going to do the opposite of b divided by 2a, where this number is a, this number is b, and that is c. So it's going to be the opposite of b, which in this case is positive 12, so it's come to negative 12, divided by 2 times negative 2. Well, negative 12 divided by negative 4 gives me positive 3. So I'm going to put 3 in the middle of my table. Plug 3 in for x. You're going to have negative 2 times 3 squared plus 12 times negative 3 minus 17. And I got 1. So then you do numbers below and above. So now plug in 2. I got negative 1. Negative 7. Negative 17. Plot your points. 0, negative 17, I can't graph. But I can graph 1, negative 7, 2, negative 1, 3, 1, 4, negative 1, and 5, negative 7. Ooh, that was a horrible line. Let's try this again. Better. Okay, so that's my graph. And then I need to tell if the vertex is a min or a max. So because my vertex is here, that is going to be a max. My vertex is my max because it's the highest point. If it's a high, it's max. If it's a low, it's a min. Here again, I still have to find the domain and range. Because my graph will always continue increasing to the left and increasing to the right, my domain is all real numbers, and my range is going to be negative infinity, comma, 1. Problem 6. I still have to use the same formula. Opposite of b divided by 2a. So it's going to be 2 divided by 2 times 1, which is 2 over 2, which equals 1. So my vertex is going to be 1 minus 2 plus 3 should be 2. So then go numbers below and above. And then plug them in for your x. So I'm going to have 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 3 is going to give me a positive 3. And then do 3 is going to give me 6 and 6. And 4 should give you 11 and 11. Plot your points. 1, 2, 0, 3, 3, 6, and you can't reach 4. So this time, after I graph it, my vertex is now going to be a min because it is on the lowest part of the graph. So that's a min. This is a max. Domain, all real numbers. Just about everything we graphed so far has been domain is all real numbers. My range now is going to be 2, because it's a min, to infinity. Number 7. 16 divided by 2 times 2 gives me negative 16 divided by 4, which gives me negative 4. Fill out your chart. You're going to do 2 times negative 4 squared plus 16 times negative 4 plus 29. I got negative 3. Do the same thing for negative 5. And you get negative 1. Do the same thing for negative 6. And you get 5. Do the same thing for negative 7. And you get 15. Plot your points. Negative 4, negative 3. Negative 5, negative 1. Negative 6, positive 5. And you can't hit the other point. This vertex is going to be your minimum. Domain, again, is all real numbers. And your range is going to be bracket, negative 3, comma, infinity. Number 8. 4 divided by 2 times 2 gives me 4 over 4, which equals 1. 1. I'm going to get negative 3 for my vertex. This one is going to be negative 1, negative 1. Then it's going to be minus 4 times negative 1. Minus 1 gives me 5 and 5. And then plug in negative 2. 15 and 15. Plot your points. connect them. Vertex is going to be a min. Domain is all real numbers. Range is going to be -3, infinity. Number 9. This time it's in vertex form already. So all you have to do is do the opposite of this, so 3, and whatever number this is, -4. And plug in the rest. You're going to do 0 minus 3 parentheses squared minus 4 gives me 5. Zero and -3. So 0, 5, doesn't give me enough room. 1, 0, 2, -3, 3, -4, 5, 4, -3, 5, 0. Vertex is a min. Domain is all real numbers. Your range is -4, infinity. Same thing. It's going to be -1, 2. And you're going to do one above and one below. And then plug it into your calculator. I got 11. 6. And 3. Plug in your points. Vertex is a minimum. Domain is all real numbers. Range is 2, infinity. Number 11. Or 3 goes in the middle. Plug it into your calculator. Plot your points. Vertex is now a max. My domain has not changed. It's still all real numbers. And my range is now negative infinity, comma, 3. Same thing for 12. The vertex is the opposite of this in whatever number this is. So I'm going to do above and below and plug them in. I got 16, 6, and 0. Where my vertex is now a minimum again. My domain is all real numbers. And my range is -2 to positive infinity. Alright, convert from standard to vertex. Put parentheses around here. Take out the positive 2, and you're going to do 2 divided by 2. Hey guys, I'm actually going to stop right here. This is a good stopping place, and I'll pick up with the rest of it tomorrow. Please use the rest of this time to study.